Yes, thank you for staying with us on the conversation. And the very first one will be on the crisis in the Middle East. It is no longer news that there is tension, there is crisis in the Middle East. Of course, Iran, United States of America, and Israel at war, and of course, destroying properties and economic powers of the world. Of course, the tension is both physical in terms of the war and economical in terms of disruption in the shipping of oil to different parts of the world. Nigeria, as an oil-producing country, is making more money in terms of revenue, but as Nigerian citizens, we are paying more in terms of petrol. And the aviation industry is not immune from this crisis rocking the Middle East. And lately, we have seen operators, airline owners lamenting, shouting, calling for the attention of government because of the alarming increase in the price of aviation fuel, also known as Jet A1. So what are the dangers ahead if these Middle East crises should continue, and what are those shocks that government can put in place to actually salvage this very critical sector of our economy, which is the aviation industry? I'll be having this conversation on Middle East war and Nigeria's aviation industry with Wole Shadare. He's a friend of the house and an aviation analyst. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. Like it or not, it is what it is. There is tension in the Middle East between Israel, United States of America, and Iran. And the signs, the pictures are not clear yet as to when this particular war is going to end. Like I did say in my intro, as an oil-producing nation, Nigeria is making more in terms of resources, and we are paying more for petrol. And lately, we have seen airline operators, stakeholders like you, calling on the federal government to do something very urgent to salvage the aviation industry. Can you give us layer by layer what exactly is happening in the aviation industry as we speak, and why are we so affected by these crises rocking the aviation industry?
Oh, thank you very much. We all know what is happening around the globe concerning crude, even refined products. This has really affected the global industry, the whole world. But when we cascade it down, we find out that aside from the PMS that has gone up by almost 200, 300%, you'll find out that jet fuel, or what people normally call Jet A1, has gone up by almost 300%. From 900 naira as at 2 months ago or 3 months ago to about 3,300 naira, and that's humongous for an industry that is trying to stabilize. If you look at the global industry had stabilized months or year after the COVID. So the industry was trying to consolidate before this needless war that has disrupted entire human lives. So coming to Nigeria, you find out that with what is happening in shit that sod, until a meeting was held yesterday, I haven't heard the outcome of that meeting. But from what we've seen, is a situation that the airlines felt they could no longer cope with. And if they try to adjust airfares, it's inevitable. But if they try to adjust airfares, it's going to affect them as well. Because you find out that you ask yourself how many people are really traveling.
Okay, Wole, I'm sorry to butt in. The outcome of yesterday's meeting, which you said you're not sure of yet, the federal government is here considering airline debt waiver amid fuel crisis, according to the Punch. And the Honorable Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development disclosed this yesterday, saying that the astronomical rise in the cost of Jet A1 fuel will be addressed by the federal government as soon as possible. And the the federal government is trying to consider a generous discount on the debts the airlines are owing the aviation agencies like NAMA, FAN, NCAA, and so on.
Yeah, these are historical debts. So, and I'm not sure the airlines are paying that. It has been hanging on their neck for a very long time. Maybe what the federal government is going to do with that debt is that, okay, the ones that they have accumulated in recent times, shortly before, okay, we're going to give a waiver, is a fantastic idea to help them. What I will not support is the idea of giving them money, physical cash.
Okay.
No, because we have seen it in the aviation industry and it has not worked. A lot of airline operators pocketed the money and disappeared into thin air. So government should not even talk about giving them. We don't even have that cash that we can give to them. So what they have done is commendable. See how they can help them, manage their debts and write them, some of them off. So which will give them a lot of cushion for them to be able to continue to be in operation. And some other things that I feel government should do that we should have is not this crisis is not limited to Nigeria. All over the world, the aviation industry is going through a kind of recession that could affect their bottom line. Just last week, KLM cancelled over 150 flights. Delta is spending additional 11 billion naira dollars to on jet fuel. Delta is spending like $3 billion dollar additional fund on jet fuel. So those ones can even sustain the operation, even in the face of rising prices of jet fuel. But because they edge, most of these airlines have their own refinery where they refine aviation product, which is cheaper for them. At times, some of them even come together like a joint venture, have their own refinery or have their own depot where they store aviation. So they buy what will last them for the next 1, 2, or 3 years.
They buy in bulk.
Yes, they buy in bulk.
Unlike here, where they get fuel on the tarmac.
Exactly. And some of them are owing oil marketers to the extent that the oil marketers are no longer giving them fuel. So it's like cash pay before service. So which also has affected their operation because they do not. In aviation, you don't pay cash. You buy your whatever you want to buy. You get them, and there's a way you settle this thing. There's a clearing house that you go to, which we now clear. So if you ask me, how do airlines buy fuel? If they go from maybe a KLM goes to Kuala Lumpur, for instance, and he wants to get jet fuel, they don't pay. So they just get their fuel. So you send the receipt to the clearinghouse, IATA, International Air Transport Association. So those are the ones that we pay. But we do not have that in Nigeria. So that is why it is even more difficult for them.
For the local operators.
For the local operators. So a lot of things are, are against them. So I'm really, really excited that the government has waded into it. But how sustainable is the intervention of government? So, and we're in a country that the government also is looking for money, is looking for avenue to make more money so that can take care of all his responsibilities. So I think they also need to sit down, collaborate. In Nigeria, we don't collaborate. Everybody wants to do his things himself. At the end of the day, you are put in a situation that you may not be able to survive. The airline industry in Nigeria is very, very is a risky venture. Most times I even ask myself why people go into airline business in Nigeria, but a lot of them go into airline business for ulterior motives. Most of them are doing something else and using the airline operation to cover. Yes, they make money, but the money they make also goes into their operation. We don't have an MRO here. Maintenance, repair, overhaul, where you can do your maintenance. If you do not have a functional MRO, you will just, all what you make locally, you will be spending hard currency to ferry your aircraft overseas for you
For
to
maintenance.
do for maintenance. So a lot of things are wrong with the airline. Then we have too many airlines in Nigeria. As at yesterday, we have more than 12 airlines. What are we doing with 12 airlines in Nigeria? And most of them are like put together. They are not more than 4 in their strength if you put them together. So everybody is just doing his own thing. They are working in silos, and you cannot work in silos. You have to collaborate. You have to partner. All over the world, KLM is a very big airline. Air France is a very big airline that they are so big that they can function independently. But they look at their strengths and weaknesses and say, okay, let us come together, merge our operation together. If you go to Air France office, you also see KLM. They do the same job. The same way, if you see Air France office, you see KLM. So the same person handle, instead of you having different offices, they've merged their operation, which is very similar.
I've also seen where Lufthansa and Air Canada also partnered.
Yes, yes. We've seen where even Kenya Airways has partnered with Delta. We've seen so many of those alliances, and we are beginning to see that with Air Peace, but it is one-sided.
Oh, okay, so Wole, I want us to look at this problem that is being faced by the aviation industry layer by layer. Let's look at operational threats because of the rise in the cost of Jet A1, which is aviation fuel, over 300%, like you rightly put it here. So what are the likely operational threats that these airlines are going to face if this war should continue?
Some of them are going to collapse. It's just as simple as that. Because
people are going to lose their jobs.
Yes, but it happens all over the world. Even big airlines in the US are folded up. They fight for Chapter 11. Chapter 11 is when you cannot continue your operation. You file for bankruptcy. But that one is well managed in the sense that government ensures that people are paid off, people welfare is being taken care of, unlike what you have here that an employee can just lay people off without even blinking an eyelid. So, yes, people are going to lose jobs. And if you look at the implication, airline business is one business that employs thousands of people. Aside that, it also has a lot of other companies that feed from that airline. You have catering, you have maintenance, you have cargo and all the rest. So a lot of people are going to be affected. And that is why the government has done what it needed to do by meeting with the airline, studying their problem and see ways they can assist them. But I don't know how buoyant is the government to begin to inject funds into private airline. It won't happen. What government can do, and what government has been doing now, is to ensure that, they complain of so many charges, multiple taxation. So government is trying to harmonize these taxes to make sure that if you have over 30 layers of taxes you're paying, so you bridge them together, put them together so that they won't be more than 10 or 12. So doing that takes a lot of burden off the
airline operators.
And in Nigeria or in Africa, Africa has the highest charges or taxes, and that is why fares are very expensive from Lagos to London or from Lagos to Paris. So expensive. Then if you also look at the same distance from from London to maybe another place that's about 6 hours, you find out that the difference is very clear. Maybe more than $500 lesser than what they charge on the Nigerian route. So the charges, the cost of doing business is very, very expensive in Nigeria. And because we also feel that a lot of Nigerians are rich, they want to show off, Nigerians love to travel in class, understand? So, and they've seen it that we are ready to spend. So the airlines are also there to collect this money from us. So
beyond the fact that people are going to lose their jobs, what are the other dangers that we are likely to face?
Yes,
in terms of operational threats.
Yes, the operational threat is that we'll lose a lot of things. If an airline fills up, you're going to lose a lot of things. You're going to lose money into that economy because whatever happens, the airlines will pay taxes, even though some of them do not pay taxes. But whenever they are ready to pay taxes, government earns more revenue. So if they are going to fold up, we're not going to have that revenue opportunity to have that revenue. So it's a loss for the government, it's a loss for the workforce, it's a loss for the economy. So that is why I think government is being proactive to see what they can do to assist them. Already, even before now, they've been complaining that the charges are too many, that they don't think they can cope any longer. And a lot of people are not flying. The traffic is reducing because air travel is the function of the economy. If the economy is not that buoyant, a lot of people, how much are people receiving as salaries that they want to travel? And if you also look at it, our roads are not in perfect shape because of security too. So people are forced to travel. So what has happened is that people who usually make their trips to Abuja, Kanu, Sokoto, and other places, maybe 4 or 5 times a year or a week, we just do once because they have to manage their resources. Even companies that you think are buoyant are doing Zoom meetings. So all these are losses affecting the industry, are affecting the economy. The economy is not so strong to support healthy airlines to be very healthy. So they are overburdened. So the airlines, so most times, a lot of us feel sorry for them, how they have been able to cope, even though some of them are so mischievous, some of them try to make the ordinary passengers, like what happened last year during Christmas, that airfare was as high as local 300%, which was crazy at that time. And I'm very excited that the FCCPC has looked into that and ready to sanction the airlines. But my fear is that if you sanction somebody that is already crying that, oh, I'm almost dead, so what you're doing is just to kill the person, and you look for opportunity to say, the country has killed me, Nigeria has happened to me, this thing. Already you know that you are having problem. But anything they do, government does now, we look at the opportunity to say, it's government that has killed the industry. So, but one good thing is that the minister we have, Mr. Festus Keyamo, has really been on top of his game, and I'm so proud of him with so many measures he has taken. When he was appointed Minister of Aviation, I never gave him any chance because I felt if real aviators could mess up the system, how much more somebody who does not even have a background in aviation, but he has surprised us with trying to reposition the aviation industry with so many things that the country is reaping from now. So there are issues, there are challenges that need to be managed very well, and it's our hope that this crisis in the Middle East will come to an end very soon. I was happy when the Strait of Hormuz was opened that, our problem has finally been resolved.
But now America has blocked it.
2 days later, they said the thing has been blocked. So I'm just happy because any adjustment in the price of jet fuel is going to do a very big damage to the industry. I think let's see what government comes up with and see how they are going to help the airline to cushion the effect of this hardship.
Okay, so beyond what the government is planning to do to help the industry survive at this critical moment, in terms of flow, in terms of supply, rather, supply is limited, and that's why most airlines, both locally and internationally, are managing, trying to reduce the number of hours or the number of flights that they do for them to survive at this moment. But locally here, we have Dangote Refinery, who is refining locally. Is that not a leeway for these operators to survive at this moment?
Yes, there are two ways I look at it. Yes, we should thank Dangote for, coming at the right time, because if he had not come, perhaps maybe we'll be buying PMS for 2,500 naira per liter. But at the same time, I'm equally surprised that since this thing is refined locally,
Yeah.
that the even PMS shouldn't be as expensive as it should be. But when you ask Dangote people, they'll tell you that they are not getting enough crude. At this particular time, what is even more shocking is that a lot of countries are concentrating on local consumption. They are not even doing export any longer because you need to take care of your home before you can even say you want to
take care of others.
And you can make your money locally. But the problem I have is that I learned that Dangote is even doing more of exports now on PMS when we are saying that...
He's a businessman. He's making his money.
Yes, he's a businessman. But at the same time, all over the world, they are cutting down on exports. Because you need to manage what you have. The only country that doesn't look like it's going to suffer all this is the United States of America. Even at that, is still trying to ensure that it takes care of the local consumption. And most times I even ask people, I said, how come the imported fuel, whether PMS, whether jet fuel,
it's cheaper,
is cheaper than what we are refining locally? What is really the problem? Because nobody understands what is really happening. Because I felt if you're importing something, it should be cheaper. It should be more expensive than what you're doing locally, because you're taking all the taxes, the landing this and the landing that off. So why are we still buying this thing very expensive? But that is left to the people in that industry to really tell us what is happening there. Understand? So when I look at it, it becomes very difficult to really rationalize some of these things. Yes, we know that the Middle East crisis has led to a lot of crisis, energy crisis all over the world. But yes, in as much as it shouldn't take, the pain shouldn't be as much as this. That is why I think government also needs to look at that. And if Dangote is also complaining that is not getting enough crude, yes, so we can, because he's a businessman, like you rightly said, he's also getting his crude, the shortfall, internationally. So, and he's going to
supply is limited.
Exactly.
Because of that Strait of Hormuz.
Exactly. So he's going to also make money. He's a capitalist as well. But I think the government needs to look at this. I'm not saying anybody calling for subsidy or this thing is an enemy of the country, that, let us bring back subsidy is an enemy of the country. It's not going to work. But at the same time, let us look at things and do things so that we can ameliorate the pain of the people, of the citizens. So for the airlines, like you said, they are really, really living on borrowed times, except something, miraculously happens. Like I also said, a lot of people are not flying. So the airlines also are cutting their schedule now. That is why if you go to the airports, you see a lot of flight delays. Already we had flight delays even before now.
Disruptions.
Exactly. So people, they match these flights together so that they can save costs, which is understandable.
So talking about flight disruptions now, which is more local or international?
No, it's local. Local has always been, because the international airlines have obligations to their passengers. And if a passenger, for instance, an airline, for instance, picks a passenger from Lagos now, he needs to pick that passenger because the final destination of that passenger is not, for instance, not Frankfurt. What they do...
They're going to connect somewhere else.
Frankfurt is their hub, so they connect all over the world. So if you fail to pick those passengers to your hub to distribute, you are liable to a lot of things. In fact,
and if you don't,
it will cost you more, because you will need to put them in hotels, you need to give them refreshment, you need to give them money to take care of themselves. So it costs so much. So that is why foreign airlines cannot afford not to pick their passengers because the distribution network is very, very superb. How they do it, you never know. For instance, if you're going to LA, Los Angeles from Lagos, and you take KLM, they will not take you to Los Angeles directly.
Yeah.
And a lot of people on that flight,
Amsterdam.
some are going to New York, some are going to so many other parts of the world. So you need to take them, get them to their hub, to your hub, and distribute. So that is why, but domestic airlines or our local airlines do not have that. And that is why a lot of people have said that they should come together and form an interline. What it means is that two of us are going to Abuja almost at the same time. You are carrying 30 passengers, I'm carrying 40 passengers.
So the plane is not even full.
It's not full for the two flights. So why are you burning fuel? Why don't you come together and say, okay, airline A, take my passenger. Then we share the money. So while you are flying, you are making money. While you're not flying, you're also making money. But that's what international airlines do. Like if you're flying from London to New York, you can buy Air France ticket. But the airline that will take you will be Delta because they have partnership. So until we begin to do that, the airlines will not get out of the woods. And that is why we have always told airlines, come together and partner. You are very small and fragmented. Still, you are not partnering. The big ones are coming together to form a line. What's the essence of trying to be an airline owner, chairman of an airline that is not serious, that is almost dead, than to be a manager of a prosperous airline? You make your money. You have less stress. You combine, pull resources together to achieve your common goal.
So, well, this might be my final question this morning. Fine, the Middle East tension has created an increase in the price of aviation fuel, Jet A1. So, for the passengers who are watching us right now, I'm sure they are panicking already, and they are looking at their pockets and then thinking that wouldn't they start embracing the option of traveling by road? Yes. Or by rail where available?
Yes, I think, before now, I used to think that, it's so bad traveling by road. But I did a road travel from Lagos to Anambra in January.
Which year?
This year. And I enjoyed it, honestly. It's not as bad as they painted it. It's not as if...
And your tongue was not in your mouth?
No. I was relaxed. I wasn't scared, and I felt... in fact, I needed to see the other part of the country. So I was excited. It was nice, and it saved me a lot of money because I left around 7 o'clock, and I got to Anambra around 2 o'clock.
In the afternoon?
Yes. Let me also tell you why I decided to go by road. I booked my flights. Fine. I was going to leave very early.
Was it cheap?
No, it wasn't
cheap. Okay, the war had not started then?
No, the war had not started then. So it was during the Christmas, New Year period. So it was expensive. It wasn't cheap. So I did that. Then, a day to that time, I got a text message that the flight had been cancelled. And I needed to be in Anambra that day for a very important function. I just said, you know what? Let me just go through this bus people, this Sienna people. No, Sienna people, I say it's more comfortable. And I departed, and I got to Anambra around 2 a.m. Let me also shock you. People who were supposed to go with another flight, their flight was 9 o'clock, but they didn't depart until 2 p.m. So they won't get to Anambra until 4. And me, I went by road. I was already there before 3 o'clock. So, yes, a lot of people will take that option. And in fact, a lot of people are taking to road travel now. If you look at the statistics, you'll find out that The road transport people in Mazamaza, Amuwo, Odofin are your competitor. What you can do, you can bring down your fares. Aviation or airline business is a business about volume. The more people you pick,
the more you make.
You break even. But if you say, no, I'm going to take 200,000, 300, how many people can afford that? Not a lot of people can afford that. And it didn't cost me up to 200 to and fro. And I was back. I was fresh. Even when I was coming back, I got to Lagos before 3 o'clock. So people will take to road travel when they do not have, when they cannot afford it. So it's okay, even with the danger on the roads.
Okay, Wole, before we wrap up this segment of the program this morning, we need to take a very short break at this moment. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up our conversation on the Middle East crisis and how it is affecting the aviation industry in Nigeria. We'll be back after this moment.